To live from Johannesburg in South Africa. And today on hashtag Africa Update Asks, we basically focusing on Cameroon, with the Cameroonians going to the polls in October this year. Our question to you is, do you think African leaders overstay their welcome, and should there be a final cutoff for presidents, or should they be allowed to continue until they feel it is time to leave? And the background being obviously 92-year-old Paul Biya as the president of Cameroon, looking for another term in office, and some are calling for him to step down and allow younger people to take over. And we ask again, do you think African leaders overstay their welcome, or should there be a final cutoff for presidents? And let us know what your thoughts and your views are on all our social media platforms. That's on X, Instagram, at Channel Africa 1, on Facebook at Channel Africa. You can also send us your comments and voice notes to +2763 as 406 9126 hashtag Africa Update, and hashtag Africa Update Asks. Now, we posed the question before the show started, and we got a response on Facebook, and this is from Enoch Chipinga, and his response is, at 92, he is supposed to retire already. So that's just one response that has come through on our Facebook page, and if you want to hear your views and your thoughts on our platform, just respond to any of our questions that we asked, especially today. It is a very interesting one. It is 12:18 Central African time, and we're coming to you live from Johannesburg in South Africa.
Africa Update with Lulu Kapu, 12 to 1 p.m. Central African time.
Our southern Cameroon's Ambazonia citizen resident in South Africa believes Cameroon's president should not be running for elections and should rather go on retirement. Our Cameroon goes to the polls in October, where 92-year-old Paul Biya is set to run again for another term in office. And to discuss this, we are joined in studio by Cletus Suhfree, the spokesperson of Ambazonia, South Cameroons in South Africa. Cletus, thank you for coming through to our studios and joining us today.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here today to discuss the calamity state, as we call it, of Cameroon, where we have a president who has decided not just to destroy the country even more, but he has decided vehemently as a dictator who've been there for more than 4 to 5 years. Before I was born, before my daughter, who is 22 years old, was born, and before my son, who is 9 years old, was born. So it is more than a 3 generation of massive dictatorship under President Paul Biya, who took office even before 1982 when he became the president. He has been the Secretary General at the presidency in the 50s and 60s, and in the 70s he became the Prime Minister of the then Cameroons. But now he has vehemently refused. This chap doesn't speak very well, he doesn't move very well, he doesn't think for himself. He's got aides that think for him. And a lot of school of thought are saying, if he's actually AI, that is in the place of President Paul Biya, or indeed he's still the man that we knew before we were even born.
Now, Cletus, the Constitution of Cameroon was amended to some basically accusing Paul Biya to suit himself. What are some of the changes that were made on the Constitution to allow for him to stand for another term at the age of 92?
Well, we have to go back from 1972. The president of Cameroon, he abolished, there was an abolish where he started. He was, as I said, he was a Secretary General up to the Prime Minister of that country. So from 1972, when he started working, in 1984, he changed the country's name from the Federal Republic of Cameroon, which is the Southern Cameroons and the French Cameroon, to the Republic of Cameroon, which meant for that the union between the Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia that we stand for now, has collapsed. He collapsed it in 1984. And therefore, the dictatorship did not only grow, it risen from where 30% of the population of Cameroon, which is the English-speaking, that were colonized by the British under the reign of the League of Nations, together with Nigeria, that joined Cameroon, and they agreed that they will be run and ruled as brotherly nations. That is the Southern Cameroons, which is the Northwest and the Southwest regions, and joining their brothers, the French Cameroon, which have been ruled under the French. The French Cameroon government gave independence to Cameroon, the Cameroon we are talking about, in 1961. While we, as the Anglophones, the Southern Cameroonians, the English-speaking, were swapped from under colonial rule with British Cameroon and forced under military dictatorship to join Cameroon, meanwhile we got our independence on the 1st of October 1960. So you discover that this complex of Cameroon did not just start before Biya, it has existed, but Biya came in after the first president Ayujo and promised that he's going to rule the peoples of Cameroon as one. But unfortunately in 1884, he breached that unity, and we went further in 1996, where he set up from a 5-year term as a president to a 7-year mandate. Against the constitution, he made sure that the opposition had no say. Remember, the leading opposition party in Cameroon from the 1990s is the Social Democratic Front, SDF. We said we cannot stand and watch a president change the mandates from 5 years to 7 years. As if that was not enough, in 2008, the president again abolished the 7-year term which he had put in place in 1996. So therefore, you realize that the same president opened it indefinitely. Therefore, so a 7-year term of 2 mandates, which is 7 years, and another 7 years, which gives him 14 years. He opened it up in 2008, abolished the system, and said he has to rule indefinitely. And the CPGM government, which is the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, has therefore killed the political trenches in the country, where if you are a politician, you are either paid off, you are either eliminated, or you are incarcerated.
So now let's bring it forward. 2018, Ambazonians fled Cameroon ahead of the last elections. This was in 2018. Are they expected to go back to vote now? Are they going to be taking part in this election?
Unfortunately, just to correct that, it was in 2016 when the people of the Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia, sat down and said, the dictatorship has reached a climax where those of us who are from the Anglophones, that is the English-speaking colonized under the British, were asked forcibly by the French, who make up 70% of the country, to stop speaking English in our schools and in our courts, which therefore is some form of a black-on-black appetite, to put it simply. So we were asked not to teach in English, a language of our birth, which is a colonial language inherited. We were even stopped from teaching our kids with the language of the Simi Bantu, like I'm from Bafut, from the northwest region of Southern Cameroon. And so in 2016, when lawyers and teachers went out for a peaceful march and say, you cannot take away the language. The people's culture begins from what they speak. So from there, the lawyers and the teachers were not only beaten up, they were locked up. And from 2016, from 2016 to 2018, more than 2,000, including our leaders who were in Nigeria under the leadership of President Sissoko, were kidnapped from Nigeria in coalition with, or in connection with the Nigerian government. And then they were hijacked to Cameroon under a private jet in the middle of the night. So from there, we in the diaspora and others said, you are not going to be treating your citizens as slaves in their own country. So from 2016, there was a revolution which started peacefully, and when the government cracked down and killed more than 1,000 civilians, mostly women and children, that's where the people of Southern Cameroon said enough is enough, and they had to take up self-defense. So as what is happening now, as we speak, there is a lot of chaos that has happened in the northwest and in the southwest region of Cameroon.